the issues that are affecting us for the day. That's what we aim to do. Pineapple on pizza. What is he getting paid? Really want push us as people towards thinking more openly.
Welcome back to another episode of Hot Takes, Corey.
Thanks.
That's a lot so
cynicism in here.
raw, you know.
The audience ain't gonna ever know what precede this recording, but it's thick in the air and the tone set.
Exactly. That's just because you're.
That's me stalking your juices, though. Again,
exactly. So okay, right, exactly.
Host this program, yeah.
Edgy,
as it needs to be hosted.
Welcome back to the show. You, Corey Sandyford, political analyst.
Thanks. Analyst.
Yeah,
analyst. Web new analyst. And coming talking about politics today, right?
Exactly. No, we're not. Well,
kind of
politics.
So it'd be half a political analyst today and half a whatever the fuck.
Exactly.
Funny agenda.
Yes. So I want to talk about a number of topics today.
Okay.
I want to talk about
edge of my seat.
The new medical marijuana situation in Barbados, particularly with respect to the Big Mike video. I want to talk about these wildcat strikes in the hospitality industry and the government's response to that. I just want to lightly touch on that because I feel like we have a lot of ground to cover.
No comment.
And I also want to touch on the fact that the U.S. elections are still going on and Trump hasn't conceded, and it feels like it's been just Groundhog Day. It's like every day. You saw that meme with that movie where the guy keeps getting up and it's the same thing over again. And somebody,
I haven't seen the meme, but I know the movie.
Right. So somebody interspersed it with the elections, and it was like, another day. Congratulations again to Joe Biden for winning. So it feels like it's just been going and going and going.
I was gonna tell you that I feel like that whole topic feels like a stale fart in a room, and it ain't like. Dissipating
at all.
Open to allow the air.
Because imagine we would do the last podcast.
If you pay attention to news, that is.
Exactly. I try not to know because it just feels like it's Trump and elections and
we
every
was
day
talking about that
else.
2 weeks ago. Doing a pod on that specifically 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
There.
And we still
here. I hear yesterday, I see on the news, Supreme Court strikes don't appeal to whatever, I forget the word they know that they're using for Trump things. And I was like, Still. That's
and
still
then
happening.
No, it was even seeing that this was on Twitter yesterday that there's this whole thing going on because the Texas Attorney General now he was looking to he filed something with the Supreme Court now to contest the election results in those background states like Georgia and Pennsylvania and those, and they're like, how Texas get into this? Like, apparently he filed something with the Supreme Court, and then they're saying that other states are going to join in and they're trying to predict which other ones, like Missouri and whoever else, to say that the election results in these states have irregularities and things are wrong and blah, 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 and da-da-da, and that to overturn those elections results.
I just want to say more power to Joe Biden whenever he does finally become president, and I'm still getting accustomed to that term president-elect Joe Biden.
President-elect.
I just still to this day think of Joe Biden as a political shitehole, and I just never thought. Who would have thought you would have ever seen the day that Joe Biden? President?
It seemed like such a long
when
shot.
he was not even the presidential campaign, but before he became nominee. You remember when that seemed as though it was dead in the water?
Yes.
Because those first couple primaries or whatever they were, he came in third or fourth.
He was coming in late, so they were like they had expected him to come in first. He was coming in low, so it's like, all right, Joe looks. After a certain point, they were like, it looks like he's going to drop out. He doesn't have enough donors. He doesn't have enough whatever. It was some kind of voters, super PAC voters or what the fuck ever it is.
The man went one
or
two in a row.
And Bernie had like 50 at the time and stuff like that. So it was like.
From then, the man went clear. But at the time, the conversation, this was like last March 2019. I think the conversation at the time was like, he campaigned lots of enthusiasm and he seemed tired. Right. And you know how all the talk now about he going into this campaign, about how, not the campaign, sorry, the presidency, about how whether or not the man can live to 4 years.
Right.
Which I think is so dark.
It's so like
people talking about Kamala becoming
President Kamala, President Harris, what would she be, 48?
I never saw a conversation like that.
And they were saying there was a meme that had me crying for days. There's a gif for her waving her hand at a crowd and putting her hand on her heart, and somebody was saying that's what's gonna happen when she has to send him off. I did the dementia home, the old people, so sending him along to the home when he got Alzheimer's.
People are the denizens of the internet don't ease them.
Dark.
I just making the point that President-elect Joe Biden, let me get accustomed to saying it, because the media has got accustomed to saying it. Because to me now, over the last couple of weeks, once the transition started or somewhere thereabouts, the conversation I saw coming out in the media started to focus more on what Biden is doing and less on what Trump is doing. Because at the end of the day, Trump is like repetition of the same thing. And I read a very cynical take on it, which you always appreciate, because we tend to go with the most cynical take.
Yes, always.
If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, believe it. But it was saying that President Trump, what his game really is by keeping forcing this issue is to continue to raise campaign funds, because as I understand it, once he doesn't concede, he can continue to stay in campaign mode and receive donations to his campaign, and this is towards having money when he becomes a regular citizen to fight his legal cases.
Because I heard that they were saying that people were donating to this fund that he has set up for the legal battles, but then they were saying the funds are not going to like Trump's campaign or anything like that. They were either going to either the RNC or going to Trump himself. So Trump was pocketing, let's say, about over 50% of the money. And they were saying, like, I think this would have been last week, he had pocketed about $200 million, like ridiculous amounts of money. At the same time, they were saying that he has legal battles coming up. Once he becomes president, it's like people just waiting like a barracuda under the reef to catch heat. Because it was established by the Justice Department that once he is president, he is immune. Because that had been the precedent established, I think, slightly before the Mueller thing, or that was the whole conversation around the Mueller investigation. Is he immune from prosecution while in office? So they have managed to establish that. But no, it was like them, like, especially stay in New York, just saying, oh, waiting for he just counting down days, just waiting for you to die January 21st, and I can go and then gonna drop things on he.
I don't feel he can see a day of jail time.
I don't believe so.
Why am I even put in jail in the conversation? If they manage to get some money out of he, I think they will have done well. Yeah. But even so, that would tend to be quiet.
Knowing the way that things go, things that have gone, like I don't think that if they would he would see a day of jail. He would see a day of anything, any remorse, because the conversation has been coming out already, where people are saying that they don't that Biden should pardon him, and articles are being written, and of course cynical
people are arguing are questioning whether he can pardon himself.
Preemptively before you saw that he's gonna pardon himself. Then they were saying the president can't pardon himself, so another theory was being floated that he's gonna step down, let Mike Pence take over, and let Mike Pence pardon him. And that was like,
this time that we living in.
Exactly. I was like, I didn't see it coming, didn't think of that, but anything is possible in this year, you know.
I started off talking about Biden to say that I take my hat off this man when you like the way the issues are lining up themselves, the vagaries of them, the overlaps, the contradictions in terms of people who want this, people who want that, the questions on the table, the issues in Congress, and the way them can play out with Democrats versus Republicans. I like more power to you, dude.
More power,
You come in a time, you would have thought Obama was bad if you could jump in a time machine and go back to 2008, but
nothing like this. This Biden hill steep, so it's like I wouldn't be surprised if he clocks out before.
Don't do that thing. And on top of all of that, he got these motherfucking Trump supporters to deal with.
You got 74 million Americans.
A Trump supporter is like a hardcore Trump supporter, and I'm convinced even the ones on the fringes, there are people who want short-term solutions to long-term problems.
Yes, and don't want to hear anything else that exists outside of their biases.
Because when I look at the things that Trump has pulled out of, the things that he seeks to put a stop to and start his own thing, is always a situation where it's short term, is make America great again. Make it appear that America could be this, when really and truly there's a much bigger conversation to be had. Like if you pull out of the Paris climate agreement, like what is that going to mean for the world? What is that going to mean for the US? 15, 20 years from now, it appears to be good now because you're putting people back in coal factories or whatever it is.
Right. But then you end up speeding up climate change and the whole climate movement, and then you have states like on the other side whose the water level is rising for them and eradicating their towns. There's a picture I saw of these houses on a cliff, and it's like these would have been probably about 10, 20 years ago, prime beachfront houses, like prime great views. They're big houses, but obviously climate change has come around and the cliff has eroded. So then you have these beautiful houses perched precariously on the end of a cliff, like the land eating away from under them. So it's like these people have to evacuate because you don't know when piece of dirt can move and your house can fall down. So,
but what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, Biden gets in. We've most of us have accepted no, he'll be president.
if a civil war doesn't break out,
right,
that's another thing being floated that I find is really just so crazy.
I was hearing about that months ago. That people were fearing the worst. I mean, like at the civilian level, like, you know, I never watched the Purge movies, but I have a sense.
I watched one last year in January.
People are fearing that kind of behavior. People are buying guns.
Yeah,
black people are buying guns.
Are stockpiling.
Yeah. So anyhow, these people continue to exist, and you and I were having a conversation off air a couple of weeks ago about whether Trump becomes okay. So they finally put him out of office. This is what a lot of people wanted to see. But this is what 80 million Americans vote for. But does he become Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Right.
More powerful in death than he ever was in life, or whatever that line was.
I know, right?
Star Wars. Does Trump become that? I mean, because now, in a sense, he's able to make even more of a nuisance of himself.
It's like Nigel Farage from the UK. Like he was out of office and he became an even more powerful version of himself. And next thing, he all over the place. You throwing rallies. I can see that Trump rallies still going on because he loves the attention, narcissism, and then he loves the money because these people are. I mean, if you get 1,000 people to dump $5, $10, $20, $25, you're making a whole set of money, and that's their one rally.
He's a man who he's smart enough to not come out and say something that could cause him to be charged.
Yeah.
But he would ask questions. He would leave questions in the air.
Yeah.
That these motherfucking people, honestly, it like riles them up. All of these gives fire to all of these like white supremacist groups and all these kind of people. So
and just all them, the Proud Boys, all the white supremacist groups will still back him. So it would be the same thing. And I could see him speaking the same thing Obama did, speaking for Wall Street people, doing these big expensive speeches for like $200,000, speaking at sure universities and everything like that will want to have him to speak. So I sure that he's set to make a bag out of office, but again, it is all within whether he survives them legal challenges. And then I heard that he also has debts that are equal to like $445 million.
The media can be all true there.
All over that. And then who knows what other state actors may appear to claim the debts. It was said that different banks are holding the debts, and who knows what direction that might turn him in.
But you know what this conversation is that we're here having, right?
What's that?
If you just watch any gritty, dark TV shows, like as in the vein that I like them, it's always be like, you know, the season is progressive. You got 10 episodes, and it starts out with a problem, logically, and by the end of the season, you kind of like move towards this happy ending where the problem gets solved. But then you get that last montage where it shows you that when you thought the problem was solved, all of these other situations now starting to play out that will be that much worse.
Yeah.
Just when you thought your life was gonna be happy, you have this feel
good,
and
have this feel good, will be good. There'll be
status.
This post-Trump era, it'll be the Trump glow, all gone.
We won, and everything will be good forever and ever.
Exactly. Rainbow in the sky.
Something so.
Yeah, I could definitely see that once he gets out of office, he will become an even bigger problem and morph into who knows, even another character.
Will become bigger problems.
Yeah,
I think.
Because I think that what people were on the fringes, as somebody pointed out, these people were on the fringes all the time, but he has emboldened them in a different way, and now they have all come forward, and now that they're out in the spotlight, they don't intend to go back.
He has convinced them that he has been cheated.
Yeah.
And they have been cheated by extension because they wanted him. That's their guy, as I said. There's no other politician like him that come along and talk to them the way he has. And you and I were talking off air about how, to me, you don't just convince a person like that easy so that the system is cheating them. These are people who did not believe in the system to start with. So it's that much worse now.
You even drive them out to vote, and people that weren't voting before, now record numbers come out to vote. It's like you really have them caught you know, and they really believe in this man. So it's like, what is gonna happen afterwards? Like, even though they're talking about partisanship and things moving further and further, and people become more and more polarized, but it's like, and no, I hear Biden and them talking about reaching across the aisle and meeting people in the middle. It's like
there's people that was praying outside election stations when there was
like
doing this and praying towards the election stations to try and get the result that they wanted. Like
I know, like
you reach across the aisle to them,
right? What are you reaching across the aisle? Those are not rational people. There was a picture I had put up. No, I didn't put it. That a meme I had shared from that girl, Chelsea, I think her name is. That black girl comedian,
Cheska Lee.
There we go. Right, she had a picture of it was like, why can't we all get along? And it's on one side you got the police, the KKK, and like one of those redneck, Make America Great Again, wearing hats and guns. And then the other side you have like black people, the LGBT, you know, trans people, like minorities who are vulnerable. And it's like, what aisle are we reaching across? It's not that we have a difference of opinion, like pineapple on pizza, exactly, or avocado on pizza, or avocado toast.
Raisins and conkeys.
You want raisins and conkeys. You want to fucking kill me? Like,
where's the common ground?
Where's the common ground? You want to exterminate me? What's
I am a problem for you, and you are a problem for me.
That's right.
By existence.
You can't my existence. We don't just disagree. You want to kill me? There's no.
Can't even agree to disagree.
So I wonder where that would leave. America has American problems. So
yes. I started off your show. I'm sure you want to deal with Barbados first and move out.
Yes, I know, right? Because that was my last point. And then even that point even spawned in and of itself and cycled up and stuff like that. It is because in as much as we could see it as an American problem, I also remember that so many of us have families over there. I have people that we love over there, friends and stuff like that. So in as much as it's easy to distance ourselves from it, it's like, you know, these people are the vulnerable groups that will be hurt. Like those people, black, brown people, more than any other rich white American. Like you had to watch The Purge, but The Purge, it focused on a rich white family, but they were able to lock down their houses only because of stupidity, really, that the house got breached. But yeah, they were able to lock it down. I mean, it was saving a black man against stupidity. Yeah, they had the means and the wherewithal and the big intelligent security system and all that.
Privilege.
I know, privilege. But that was not the start that I wanted. But you know, yeah, exactly.
Your matter.
Obnoxious people. You know, where we really want to start with is, you know, he's got these little points, these little hot takes.
Yeah, sorry. I start you off on U.S. elections and we just went.
We just went down the road. Kendall Hill. NTW. I hope that somebody.
How long ago we recorded and you talked about that? That was a month ago.
It got worse. A big fucking trench. Don't pass on there. It's like you're playing. I can't call it whack-a-mole, but it's like whack-a-mole, but instead it holes in the road and you're doing that and you're dodging them. No, whack-a-mole is what somebody used to describe Oyston's car park.
Whack-a-mole.
You know the game where you hit the mole that comes out the hole.
Whack-a-mole.
There we go. So they're like.
Potholes?
Yes, they're not potholes. Like Kendall Hill these are trenches. I'm not joking. People have dug up the road so that you are constantly swerving, and this has been like this from about October. And it's right in front of Adrian Ford office. And I be going down there, and I'll go down there every day, and I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I don't pass up there. Where I do pass is West Coast Highway 1.
Oh, Lord. I haven't passed on there.
But you know what that road, that stretch of road, you know what goes on down there, right?
Yeah.
That's where the tourists are. Yeah. That's where the land that has foreign ownership is. So I'm interested to see how long that road takes to get fixed.
You know that way people going to start to kick up.
As opposed to the one that you're talking about.
Because you have to go up. I hear you're going down that road, you're past Paynes Bay. You have to turn up Holders Hill. No, you can't go down. That's crazy. There, yeah. I know traffic out there must be stink on the morning and evening.
I would pass on the weekends.
I haven't been down there. I've only seen somebody putting up pictures, and I've been like, but Kendall Hill is
and
atrocious.
And car stink too.
And the what?
It's left car stink like if the rain fall and you go wet. It's very gravel and.
I can't hear that, but the things just don't make any sense. Like there was a pothole, not a pothole, it was a trench, so it was lined off at the top of the hill. So you gotta overtake the trench. It's the top of the hill. It's a blind, like you can't see what's coming. The amazing fact is that no accidents occurred that I knew of.
You got me here, no.
It's madness, and then you going down. Like it's not everybody could drive. absolute craziness. And I tried to at Peter Phillips on Twitter, but I doubt he checks it, you know. I mean, he follows me, and that was ever since from Better Bim when he was.
His social media management follows you.
That's true. He seemed to be
somebody who opinion matters.
Back in 2014, he seemed to actually be.
Find out how to like deal with he when time come. Sorry, it's just how my mind works.
Cynical, disgusting.
Victimization.
Political victimization.
Yes.
Peter Pete won't do that to me, man.
You would? All right. Well.
It's who is he? He do good. Ministry of Transport and Works. Yeah.
I think Duguid was. I think Duguid got moved, but I can't remember he landed.
They need to do something out there. That's all they stink. Anyway, I don't want to take up too long. It's a fucking road, you know. Just a road that needs fixing. Maybe Adrian Ford could do something. He's environment. Jesus Christ, like down there, it's horrible. You
That's
know?
your rep.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Look what happened. You're supposed to be able to talk to these people. Not that I would, but you know.
I know, right? I should be able to call you up and say 40. We're getting on medical.
I see you holding fourth. But you know, we talked about that already. You're holding fourth on the environment.
Yeah, he did a good job on the environment. I would give him that. He's done a very good job. We will see how it turns out. I wanted to talk on Crumbs. Crumbs, the new thing on the block, the boy du jour, you know? It's like thing that is on everybody's
expanding
lips.
in a recession.
I know. Apparently, that's supposedly the best time. I saw Jeremy Stevens, I think, talk about it. Stevens, whatever. But Steven, there we go. Yeah, I saw him talking about how it is that now is the time that you expand because there's not less money available, there's more money pooled into smaller size people.
Places,
right,
yes,
exactly.
sense.
So he was like, no, it's a good time. He applauds it.
Richer.
Yeah.
It's just showing me how much fucking flour Bajans eat. That's what it's showing me. I mean, start a food business and do well and you can succeed in Barbados.
Like, I'm impressed. It's really, and I think that they also suffer from the same success that Shafat has where Bajans like
they suffer from it.
Something, yes, suffer from it.
Odd word, but I'm listening.
It's like once a idea drops into the popular minds of people, and it's like everybody has to comment on it. Everybody has to say something. Like Shafat with the cars, so then random people are just doing videos of like, I see the Shafat car, and then like
so then was getting all that advertising.
Exactly, I think Crumbs gets that because like when the Crumbs at the airport appeared, somebody took a picture of it. The one in St. Lawrence got that appeared. Somebody take a picture of it. So the one in Sheraton from a picture, the one in they have a fast food outlet now. I saw a picture on that on Twitter. Yeah, in Albert Fairchild Street. I know, right? A fast food. It's called Crispy. It sells chicken and chips and stuff like that. It's actually pretty good. I went and tried it.
I want to do a movie flash forward to 5 years and see what's going on with all these things that we talking about.
If Crumbs rivaling Shafat now, you know.
Basically. Or if like, you know, if some cataclysmic event took place and you're seeing these Crumb signs. My imagination is
right? Crumb signs hanging on the side of the building, that type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
No.
That's interesting. I didn't know about the fast food one.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know about it. I had never seen it anywhere else.
My tongue.
Exit was same as me. I had to venture into town to find out, but it was like, this is pretty good. I gotta applaud them for providing employment in the recession.
I hear got all kind of thoughts going through my head, but nobody entertained me for labels.
Exactly, nobody ensuing me for labels. So I ain't even touching on them thoughts.
Money blowing up like that, and money letting go, it'd be like, that's interesting.
Right?
Why do you appear to have unlimited money to spend? Expansion costs money.
A lot of money. But, what somebody said is that maybe a lot of the expansion is franchising. People just buy the Crumbs name.
Fair enough.
They have a central location, ship it out to people. People take a cut of the profits, whatever have you. Because I'm sure, again, like I said, one pop up somewhere, everybody like, hey, look at this here.
It seemed like a relatively simple business plan to me.
Like, yes.
It almost makes you wonder why somebody managed to come along and do it before.
Wait, it wasn't done before. It's so crazy. And then at the same time, I still think that there's a lot of untapped potential, especially in the realm of like social media. I don't even know if Crumbs has like an Instagram page, a Facebook page. You can imagine that.
Possible.
They must have at this stage, but it's a record expansion. I just go to like, even have a Crumbs food tour. I'd even go to the airport one just for kicks, just for fucking shit and giggles. Because it's right there in the center. do all the different crumbs location. You could fucking go around the whole island doing like, hey, let's go to this crumbs and let's go.
You make a day of it.
Yeah, exactly, you know.
Give them free advertising.
Jesus Christ. I think that is what I mean when they suffer from success. Like they've gotten so much free advertising from people just by people talking about it and hyping it more and more, and then it gets bigger and bigger because people are like, well, what is this? I think I got caught up into it when I went. I was like, they got fast food. Let me go down and see this fast food. No, it was pretty good actually.
Them could encourage people to go on crumbs tours and get the winner of the videos that are created free flow for a year.
Some shit like that. They
People
could do
would
like
love
even like Banks had this Independence Village Trail, this card that you get from them. You go around to different shops and every shop will have a unique stamp and you get the card stamp. I think it was like 12, or was it 11 stamps that you would get, and then you redeem it at Banks and you win a grand prize, or you win like 2 free cases of beer, or you win an umbrella, or this and that, a whole set of stuff they were giving you.
But
you
post your stuff on IG or something like that?
No, you just go around, you get stamp and go in. So like, imagine if Crumbs was to emulate that model and said, go to these 10, 11 different crumb shops and
just say picturing some Crumbs management body watching this pod and just
yeah, I got friends that's complaining to me all the time and be like, you talk too fucking much, right? Exactly. They just be like, you just give ideas, it just be tweeting shit, and then it's come and message me on WhatsApp and be like, stop, bro, stop. So it's feel like that possibly. So I could see that like somebody would send them and say, listen, let's go watch out there. We want to do that. Yeah. I can see that. But I do like the expansion. It's good to see a business expanding every session.
You're not a critic.
I'm not a critic. So whereas you'll be like that. I was a cynic before, so my tweets will show that, but I'm not.
Well, we'll convert you.
Completely a cynic. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I think the chicken. I was it was nice. So, you know, I don't really know. Or maybe I just like to, you know, back an underdog. Or what was it? I wanted to be contrarian. So everybody was liking them and like, was it? Rumpling them. And now here I'm, you know, I'm maybe ain't so bad.
Give it time. Like I say, I want to flash forward 5 years.
Give it time. Like, what was that tweet? When it's 2049 and Crumbs Labour Party win the government. Exactly. That's where you flash forward. The way things going, you wouldn't be surprised to hear them in some sort of party donor or something like that. That's that kind of shit that you hear in some dystopian novel.
That is like a snap from happening. That is like
money there. I'm asking because like imagine you just start there in Eagle Hall, nice, cute little bread shop. I know you colonize half the fucking islands.
That is true. I didn't even think of it in that way, but I remember the one at Eagle Hall.
Right?
It was just that.
Just a cute little crumb shop. You go and you get your bakery stuff. People talk about it, yeah, but no, it's like all over. Soon then, and with that little house in the hut out back, she went there, and soon I got a crumb sign on it too.
Yeah, that girl come back down here and paint it.
So yes, Corey. So today I want to also talk about, well, I want to touch on the wildcat strikes that have been going on in the hospitality industry. And I also want to talk about, again, that whole medical marijuana in Barbados and the Big Mike video and everything. But the wildcat strikes, so I think at the time of this recording now, there's probably about, 24 hours? I would say that was 36. I know they got to be less. They got about 12 hours left now that she gave the Attorney General to update her before the government made a position on what they should do with G4S. And I think, scapegoat was the wrong word, but I think obviously G4S is not being used as scapegoat. That's really the wrong word. G4S get hang out to dry, so the government could say, this is an example of what we will do to the rest of one.
Yes.
So the rest of companies will fall in line, and it had to be somebody at some point.
It's political mileage too, because
she looks strong. It's the same strong army you would have seen last year. This time would be at Barbados like in power.
Right, she's excellent at putting pressure on people.
Yeah.
And you would watch a press conference, and if you watch it at surface level, you won't know. But she's speaking to the public. But in speaking to the public that this thing is going to happen, you will know what's going on behind the scenes. But the people who behind the scenes know where such and such is not the reality. But she is saying this thing is going to happen. They're going to scramble to make it happen. So
I don't want to draw the comparison, but it's like Trump. It's like Trump will tweet something. He says that in a press conference, and all the handlers and aides and all that will be like, what the fuck is this? You know, it's like, and then them now got scrambled to make what he said happen.
Right.
And it feels it must be similar to that, because it's like, Imagine you as a permanent secretary, somebody up watching that and be like, what the fuck? You know, it's like,
them so, but I more mean like the third parties, like the G4Ss
G4S and all them, like,
and people
you
in
know.
the social partnership and them kind of different
I got way
situations.
too
that
eyebrow
have.
and scramble to get you lawyer to figure out what
Prime
is that
Minister
she's
say,
talking about
so-
exactly.
And she knows this. So my thing is like, you set the tone, and I would then respond to what you guys say.
You're right. I mean, it was an impressive bout of, as you say, political maneuvering. It was also like, I find, especially during the pandemic and after it, not after it because we're still going through it, but during this pandemic, I find that whatever power you thought the government had, the government was like, oh, you thought it was here, but I'm really here. And it was like, it seems all sweeping, especially in these smaller democracies or smaller Caribbean democracies where the prime minister's reach is nearly supreme. You know, it's like, I could understand why as well she would hang out G4S to dry, because it's like, all right, well, when it gave me too much trouble, and obviously you getting strikes at, where was it, Accra? There was somewhere else before that. Somebody else had us. I think Savannah joined with Accra. There's somebody before that, I can't remember, where these hospital and Hilton as well. Hospitality workers coming out saying we have these problems. There, what is
Barbados Beach Club.
the Barbados Beach Club up on the West Coast. So you having these problems coming out, and again, mileage, national mileage, and then the government looks sweet because they weren't saying anything. I only have seen one video from, I think, Colin Jordan. He was Labour, right? And
Yes.
yeah, so it wasn't as, you know, people want her to speak now because it's her.
People always want prime minister to speak.
So it's
but
like, even though exactly, so even
much
if Minister of Labour come out and speak, it was like, it isn't as impressive as she coming out and saying exactly. I mean, but has she allowed them to have a profile? But that's a separate and distinct conversation in and of itself.
Fine.
But and I found that even with him, Colin Jordan, he wasn't as versed in her optics. So she's got the optics where it's like, even like the backgrounds and everything, the way the camera is set, the way the lighting is done, is all. I was impressed because when it's compared to him just saying, "Oh, he office," it was like, you're missing the element here, you know, that she's got that this kind of grandiosity.
Oh, you mean the not the angle of the camera, but the scale.
Yeah.
How pando it is.
Yeah, how pando, like you capturing in the background and all that. It's like all, like literally all the optics of it, not just her on camera speaking, that all of it. I guess the power, the office, the prestige, all of that.
So you hear that word you're using, optics. You know that none of this is real to a certain degree, right? If you're talking and the conversation you're having is about optics and we're talking about Mia Motley, I look at Mia Motley, I find I still looking for that flaw. My brain is the way my brain works. My brain is always looking for flaws. So I always looking for it, and I know I can find it. Just give it time. Point being that in terms of optics, you're talking about how the perception of the government is that it's here, and now you're seeing it's up here. That's the same optics, because like, who sets the parameters? If you know how to manipulate optics in a smart way, you know how to pan the camera in a certain way, you, the viewer, are not really thinking about that, but your impression is, oh, you know what? You don't realize it, but when you used to watch Frontdale Stewart, or when you used to watch Owen Arthur, or whatever, used to be one thing, and now
It's another thing, yeah.
And I'm just using a small example to give a bigger picture. So to me, with optics, is like always open-ended. If you thought, I feel Mia has figured out a lot of things that previous leaders had not figured out in terms of how she can manipulate situations. So like we just said, you put the pressure on the other parties, you get up on the stage, you have a press conference, you're the prime minister, so when you speak, everybody will listen, meaning the whole island. And by so doing, and by saying such and such is the case, you then put all the pressure on the other party, so it makes you that much more powerful. But that is like a space she's now created that maybe previous leaders did not. In addition to this, I know you're a man who surfs social media constantly. Have you ever had the privilege of seeing or experiencing via your vast network of contacts, like how people in other islands perceive Mia Motley? Have you ever had the privilege of seeing people gush over about Mia Motley and wanting to have a prime minister like this? And
yeah,
this is what
you saw
leadership
Jamaica clamoring for her. Jamaica on Twitter was like up in arms over her, saying, why can't we have a prime minister like this? We need a leader like this who does this. I saw it with Jamaica. I saw it with Guyana, where Guyana was like, I had a Guyanese friend, he was like, Barbados ain't got shit, but they got Mia Motley, and that's what we need. You know, I was like, bitch, you got that right. You know what I'm saying? When I got the oil, but we got Mia, so it's like, and them like, well, fuck, you know, we strung up. Like, we can't do nothing because we have incompetent leaders. I've seen it from other little islands like that, same little islands, other places in the Caribbean, saying like, we would like a leader like Mia Motley. Like, you know, people gonna watch this podcast and curse me saying,
you get canceled.
Exactly. I didn't say little islands, but it's the same sentiment. But it's that same kind of ideal as though she's this stateswoman, not just for Barbadians, but Caribbean people and that. She sets this tone.
Posturing and optics.
All of it. But she's so much better at it than who's the one in Jamaica? Patterson, what his name is?
Wholeness.
There we go. You better than
But I thought he was
Rowley.
supposed to be a social media star. I thought he was a rock
Better
star.
than Granger. Well, before whoever replaced Granger now, but I don't see it.
He got 70% electoral turnout. He can't be that fantastic.
Exactly. Wait, Wholeness. Wholeness was so good at social media. Or rather, I would say is. I follow him on Twitter, like, and the way that Jamaicans are tuned into Twitter, and he caught that. He rode that wave, and he was like, even before elections, he had the like, Bro God Wholeness or Bro God as he Twitter name, and people was freaking out. It was a lot of little shenanigans and foolishness, but
all that is optics. And you know who we got to thank for almost all of this?
was this front up?
Owen Arthur.
Really?
God bless his soul. Yeah, because them years that Mia was in
the back,
when Owen come back and put her to the back, I convinced only benefited her. Because the way I look at her and I see her brain work, from what I can tell, she studied the Bajan electorate. She studied people. She paid attention to things that are being said, how people respond to them, and she fashioned in her head, when her time comes and I'm leader, I'm going to do this, that, next. So she had strategies, plans, ideas, and then she also has this ability that I think obviously now you see playing out locally and the same we're here talking about regionally and the response that she gets. She figured out how to talk to people. She figured out how to. Well, I was listening to the press conference this morning and she changed. She said something and then she said, to put it bluntly, but she still used words that the average person might think of as big, but something that I remember about the 2018 campaign was that somebody said it managed to make them feel intellectual even if they weren't intellectual. So Mia Motley is somebody who has figured out how to quote unquote speak to the common man, but still talk at a level that is impressive and whatever, and make you feel like she's talking to you in your living room or via your phone or whatever. She mastered that. And I feel all of that came from that when Arthur time back in power, when she was able to sit down and study herself, make herself more centrist in terms of the way that she appealed to the electorate, know to come along and own half or more of the brand that should be the BLPs. All that I think is Mia Motley's time in the back.
In the back. I can't say the wilderness, just in the back, you know, it's like forced to step down from party leader, even with the same people that you are now party leader above. And it's like, in as much as it was a loss, it was also a game. You know, what's he saying? You lose the battle to win the war. And I feel like it was like that. It's like, because I remember around that time, she didn't kick it in the fuss. You know, it's like, people underneath me gone to the Governor General, asked for Owen to replace me. I get replaced. It was like, I get replaced, you know, at my time, you know.
Right.
I stepped back in the back and I called out Wally. She didn't kick up. She didn't scream. I don't
think she would have been this leader if she had just continued. She would have won the 2013 election. I don't think she would have been this
She
leader.
wouldn't have been this.
She would have certainly never see this turkey, nothing.
No, never ever. It would probably be the same.
And the perception would be completely different.
Yeah, definitely. 2015, 18 numbers that the BLP were had, and you had a strong opposition. But so Owen, ironic enough, it's like what you had mentioned earlier that when you think
Owen made her stronger in death.
Exactly. You think a situation is over, and you know, like you have a show, you have a antagonist, and the season goes on. Then you get any season, and everything's nicely wrapped up, but then situations close, and then you see in the afterwards, it's the prologue, epilogue, that you see, and that things are popping up that you didn't quite expect. And it's like that happened to Mia, you know. It's like, if you had been here, this would have happened, but since you got your can kick further along the road, now you have 30-0, you have a far wider, people got you up for like 3 terms. Now you don't have any inclination to install term limits on yourself.
I suppose if you got thank you got thank the DLP too, because the handshake that 30.
The handshake that, because what you said just now earlier, about how we get into politics, you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
But what you said before about me making people feel intellectual, in that you have Frondell, who was constantly speaking down to people. What he was saying was
he is
sound.
intellectual.
Exactly, he was intellectual. He used all the big words. What he was saying was correct. But people are coming out and telling you, I cannot understand what you're saying. Your language is too intellectual.
Saying for your dictionary.
And
Constantly.
it felt like he was up in the ivory tower on a stage speaking down to people.
Always.
She feels as though she has the mic in her hand and is getting down into the crowd.
Yeah.
Or not even that, to just talk to you face to face, and maybe the mic to reach the people in the back who can't see you. But he was always felt like away from you, removed. So she has that humanity, that connection that she has with people.
Right. And the Dems did her a favor by winning
Yeah,
in 2013.
by doing all that from there.
He would be prime minister. The Lord knows when she would see leadership. Anyhow, you didn't want to get into politics. What is happening now, Luke? What is happening
Wildcats, right?
in Barbados? I try and look at Barbados big picture, because the way these wildcat strikes are going, this is essentially what we thought was going to happen with COVID,
right.
with the impacts on tourism. And it creates a very unstable
situation
politically.
Luckily, was saying that
they got such a cushion to sit down on. Like, I still feel the woman. I said on Sunday on another show, Just Politics or Worldview, shout out to them, that to me she has her armor is impenetrable right now. And people got upset about me saying that, but at the end,
people got upset.
Very, very, very upset. But, I mean,
get him.
Mia is like, to me, the equivalent of rat beef. You don't beef with the person who's hot.
Oh yeah.
Because that can't end well for you, because the majority is on the side of the person who's hot. So there's no point in attacking her right now. But point being, this isn't really her being attacked by political enemies. This is her being set upon by various situations that are ongoing that you don't see coming. It's about how you're going to manage them. But having said all of this, it all is going to boil back to economic issues, and who are the primary players in terms of who would present an alternative to the government that is in power now. The DLP, who just came out of a 10-year period of managing the economy very badly. Exactly. So they cannot appear to be conversant on issues regarding the economy.
Who you're going to turn to solutions? What Granville was, because he stepped down now.
Done.
Who you
can back to DLP, and
exactly.
I don't know that ever wasn't DLP and
the other one, the Orange Party, NDP.
UPP was
UPP. There
was
we go.
Orange, or I thought it was purple.
I don't give a fuck. I don't know
exactly.
I know, right? Even them, they because they ran in the by-election.
Yes,
they did.
Yes, they mounted the campaign, as did the PDP, and you see now that the PDP is going nowhere. Anyhow, you didn't want to talk about politics. I talking about the strikes. I talking about the state of Barbados. I talking about is December 2020. We talking about vaccines now, but none of us knows where COVID is gonna go next year. It's gonna go
right.
Wait, he's a Bazodi man. This ain't nothing to do with Bazodi, but 2021 crop over.
That is it.
Is it happening, or
so is what we're being led to believe that it's going to happen.
What we're being led to believe.
This is what we.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think it's going to happen. What people are saying, Trinidad Carnival is out. They're saying Jamaica Carnival is also going to be out, even though it's still on the cards for now. So the next major carnival you will have now will be crop over, because I think St. Lucia's before
rub up on one another.
That's it.
People got breathe up in one another's face.
Vaccine now. I don't even know how we get on this road. With the vaccine now, you exactly. With the vaccine now, you have a chance now that could really happen. But who says that by May, June, July that everybody, let's say even all the Bajans, are going to get the vaccine, and then you still have to deal with people who want to come in the island, who are going to have all that there.
And once there's COVID anywhere, there's COVID
everywhere. Like, so you just need one body coming here.
And super spread.
Because any crop over event will be a super spread. I remember I was in Carnival this year at Trinidad, and when I had come back from England, and when they came through Grantley Adams, there was a big line. We couldn't figure out what was going on. They had these things set up where they were scanning. They had somebody with a temperature gun scanning.
This was early COVID?
This was early. This would have been February this year.
Oh, sorry.
this February this year,
quarantine.
before anything ever happened, they had the guns down there. They had changed the immigration machine to ask if you had been in like China or anywhere else in the last 6 months. And if you were, they were pulling you one side and making you sit down, wait, and going through this second screen and all that. But yeah, Trinidad. How you mean that? How you know so good? But I figured that they would show up, the stamp would show up in your passport anyway. So, but when they went to Trinidad, there was none of that. None. You just got the same old regular unmanly ass immigration officer. So, but I remember being at Carnival and thinking, if one person, because that's what they had suspected, that somebody would have breached and come through with COVID from one of the countries. Because I meet people in Australia at Trinidad Carnival, people from Australia and Trinidad Carnival. So if somebody had gone down there at one of those events, it would have been a wrap. Real people would have died. So it was only by the grace of God that, because, and that's the same thing for Carnival 2021, as you were saying. If one person gets in, any of those events will become a super spreader event. And you can't say you get at the beginning event, you go home and you get sick. 3 days has passed and then you done gone to 5 different fets.
Families,
people, then that would be the greatest calamity. Exactly. Every fucking body. When you went to the supermarket, when you went to the gas station, where you stopped somewhere for food afterwards, you went online with somebody, you went to a bar afterwards. So it's like, I can understand. So it's like, you will got Ministry of Tourism here poised to make, because that would be a year out of this world. Because crop over would be like, I sure everybody, all them entertainers, everybody poised on that tip, waiting for crop over 2021 this time, because this will be a windfall year. On the other hand, you got Ministry of Health and them here like, what the fuck? Because if this does come here, like, everything will be shot to hell.
Nightmare even the word.
And they were exactly, the hospital will be swamped, the isolation centers will be swamped, the area will be destroyed. So, because thousands of people will die. So it's like, you have such a, and then in the middle, you got me and Motley trying to figure out which direction do I go in.
She'll figure out, though.
She'll figure it out.
On the right people.
She'll figure it out. Our meal will get it done,
Yeah, and all the islands will look on
and scoff. Yeah, that's it. So I can understand why people will be excited and fearful. But I figure once you have the vaccine, you install a rule that nobody can come to the island unless you have the vaccine. One hopes. It depends on how quickly up they can ramp production. Because America got 300, 400 million people.
I hope that in 5-10 years from now, the vaccine again, people cancer.
All right, then. All right. As I saw on an article today, the vaccine there were trials. The trial? No, it was the vaccine. Gave people this thing where their faces, it looked, they had a stroke.
You mean faces thing? No, I forget what it's called. The condition.
To one side. I didn't look at it tweeting, but I thought it was a gaffe, and I went down in the comments and I was like, no, this is real. And they were like, listing out like the vaccine information, the website, and I was like, bitch, what? It's like, but they were saying, but this is not seen as a major complication, and people have had allergic reaction, yada yada yada. But this is just version 1 of the vaccine, so maybe by June, July next year, you get version 3. It's a lot more stable. People could come down here.
It still sound mad.
It's so mad, and that's a real short space of time that everybody has. The vaccine to get down here, the vaccine to be spread in a large number overseas, because you want people coming in here for the foreign exchange.
Exactly, foreign exchange. I don't feel that anybody from those who manage the economy back down wants to have a conversation about if we can't have crop over 2 straight years in a row.
You can imagine that?
Yeah.
Already people don't hold in licks. The hotels already struggling to hold on.
So you're looking forward to something. You gotta make something happen. Looking to the same me and Motley.
Yeah. So it's like, even though we 6 months out, crop over starting like May, June, it's a real, as a hard pull, and that thing gonna come around like that, cause like nothing before. So it's not.
Luke, legalize it.
I know, right? That we should really move on to that. I just wanted to touch on my last point on this wildcat strike thing is that I always wonder how it is that these hoteliers, these hotel brands, these other big brands are allowed to maneuver in such a way that they're able to fob off their responsibilities on the government, the NIS. How is that, has been a standard from before? And then I think also too that this entire situation also points to the death of labor and the labor union movement, because it's like what are the labor union gonna do after you can strike? What you gonna strike for? What? Oh, well, people don't got no fucking work.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the people that say got no money, what you gonna strike and do? You can call down strike and shut down the whole island for one company, and then
They
they
would have been striking last year when they first brought that to the table.
So,
But you send me a voice note off here about this and whether the companies don't plan for this sort of eventuality. But Luke, you're a cynic. Like I was like, who's this coming for? Like, who is this person? Who's this idealist? Think like a capitalist. Think like a capitalist. You thinking like you thinking like a citizen. Think like a capitalist. You got friends who are in management in Barbados. You got friends who are business people. How do these people think? What are the conversations they have with you about how their companies work as opposed to how they should work? You get hired as a marketing executive at a company thinking that you can create a 5-year plan for this company, and then you quickly realize that your company is only ever running behind this, running behind that, and all these different strands trying to create profits because it's capitalism driven. It's the conversation in Barbados isn't going to be about bottom line, short term goals, foot traffic, all them kind of things. Nobody ain't thinking about creating a 6-month windfall so that if something, an eventuality, an act of God like COVID happens, that you can be able to safeguard the interests of workers. Or
let me care about that and just care about the bottom line. How can we maximize profits?
They don't plan
so it's
that
like,
way.
how can we cut? How can we, like, what G4S do? You got a security officer, let's say it's $8 an hour. But you got security, what is it? Executive? Security steward versus
security officer.
You do that $7 an hour.
Yeah. That's also what
listening to it. And I was like
to get that bring to light at the national level.
I would have screamed and God blame. Imagine if you was one of them. People know you getting $7.47 an hour.
And management. Those things that people won't kill you for.
Of course. Imagine, you getting a steward and you know that you getting robbed, and then you're hearing that management get
they start with
promotions.
That a long time, but I am assuming that they have their reasons. But my bigger thing is the conversation that we're having about local business and the way that they don't behave towards their workers. I just think COVID, like nobody see it coming, nobody didn't know what it was going to develop into. It affects people in myriad ways, in myriad situations. And in the case of Barbados and the workers and all these things that come into light now, I just think we're seeing how things work, which is why to a certain degree I watched Mia's press conference, because I feel like a lot of the things she was talking about and supposedly bringing to light for the public, I feel these is things that the government goddamn well know.
True.
Like, where are we having a conversation about going to our lawyer to get legal advice on blah, blah, blah. I feel like that's saying that she gonna know.
I thought so too. I was like, this ought to be standard. The Attorney General or whoever he aids or whatever would have done have to brief you about this. Somebody must have had the foresight to say, well, what is our legal position? What ammunition do we have? What can we do?
I'm not going to put out to your viewers that me knew that this G4S thing was going on and get canceled.
All right, then you can't. Get both we and I get both for you.
My supporters both in Barbados and beyond. But I am going to say that I believe that politicians and our leader, by example, know these types of business practices that exist. Maybe not specific companies, but I feel that they know that this is how companies will posture themselves when they feel as though they can get away with it.
I believe so. I agree with you 100%.
You still want to talk about legalizing?
Nah, let's save that for another
show.
Yeah,
I think you got time.
You got time?
In terms, no, not time.
No, your time.
I think you got time in the future.
Yes, absolutely. So, I want to thank you very much, Corey, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, as always.